ex-G4 TV host Frosk is at it again with another rant. As y'all know, previously, she had a giant rant on G4 about sexism in gaming, and she basically called gamers sexist almost as a whole and made a big stink. People didn't like it. It backfired. G4's numbers were absolutely abysmal in viewership. Most of us YouTubers were able to pull more of an audience, and the entire network crashed and burned. She got let go after celebrating not being let go, even though a lot of her peers were, and it was just a giant mess. And I have made videos covering that, but now she's back to talk even more, to stoke the fire, whatever that is, whatever that saying is. All right, so let's just dive into what was said here. Here we have on Twitter, she says, "I've been angry for a long time with my peers for not using their power and voice to stand up for others in the industry. Had to come to some hard terms that people who I'd known for years, who I thought were good friends, just weren't. Devastated me for a long time." Okay, so basically, I don't think people wanted, I don't think they wanted the backlash that she already got, okay? Another thing, though, she does have a somewhat fair point in the fact that people in the industry don't practice what they preach. I will give her that, but this is pretty unanimous, okay? A lot of virtue signaling that goes on in the industry, they don't even believe half of it. It's just exactly what it sounds like. It's virtue signaling for points on the internet or some likes on Twitter. But do they actually believe what they're saying half the time? Not entirely, because when it comes to actually sticking your neck out and getting backlash for it, crickets, they quiet. Do I blame them for being quiet in this situation? No, I don't agree with anything she said. I certainly wouldn't be sticking my neck out in that situation, but when it comes to things that I truly do care about, I will stick my neck out for it. And as a lot of you guys know, I had done that during the pandemic whenever I spoke out against mandates and how I didn't get I knew I was going to get backlash, and I did, and I thought I was never going to work in this industry again, and that I was going to have to get my nutrition license and stick to personal training and nutrition. I thought I was just going to throw everything away, but fortunately, and by the grace of God, that didn't happen. I may have gotten blacklisted from certain companies and people in the space, but I also got a lot of support from actual gamers who Frost calls sexist, but who turned up and have been very supportive of me, a woman. And I've been able to just be fully independent with my whole content creation and things like that. So that did work out. But hey, just saying, and again, hey, she maybe actually believed in what she was saying and stuck her neck out and doubled down on it. And I do got to give people credit when they're at least mean what they say, because so many people in the industry don't mean what they say. So at least she meant it. Do I think what she said was stupid? Yes, but at least she meant it. She doubled down and lost her job and lost her... She's never going to work in the industry again, probably, over it. And hey, again, though, she meant what she said. And in her reply here too, she goes, "Anyway, I'm leaving the industry, found new work elsewhere. This industry is really messed up. And what happened to me and plenty of others wasn't fair. And it could have been avoided if we all stood up together. You let me down, but I get why. Cheers and good luck." I don't think that any of that could have been avoided, because if you guys stand up together against gamers, because let's face it, that's the audience that you were talking down to, were gamers. you're not going to win that. Okay. You can't sit and call all of your audience or most of your audience or kind of make generalized statements that your audience are bigots or whatever, or sexist or whatever. You can't insult your audience and expect to succeed and to do well. And in that case, you shouldn't even be, if you don't like the audience, and if you don't like gamers, then why do you even want to be affiliated with them? And why do you want to be in that? I understand that in her mind, she thinks there's injustices going on and she wants to make a change or whatever. But when you make such blanket statements and you act like it is just almost unanimous that gamers are like that, then yeah, you're definitely in the wrong space. Why would you even want to be in it if you don't like the culture? The thing is when it comes to being a girl in the gaming space, I say girl gamer just because it's easy to say. Some people for some reason don't like that term. I think because people used it for attention for so long, but I just mean it in a general basic sense, just like a girl who plays video games. But actual girl gamers who have been gaming for a long time, especially, we learn, we adapt, and we hang, dude. Because when it comes to gaming culture, it is competitive. And that's part of the fun of it, okay? It's like having brothers, and I have two brothers, okay? They're just because, you know, they treat you, they're not gonna be like, they're competitive. You kind of like roast each other, that sort of thing. That's how it is. I'm used to it. I have brothers, and then of course, when I've, been in the gaming, been in online gaming chat rooms or whatever, or like team chat, all of that, especially when you're talking about old school Halo and COD lobbies, I didn't go into those lobbies and expect to be babied because I'm a woman or a girl. I went into those lobbies saying, okay, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I need to be able to hang, I need to be able to handle this. There's always going to be some people who are just extremely toxic that you're going to want to mute, but that feature exists for a reason. Ultimately, for the majority of girl gamers, we earned our rite of passage. We made it in the space because we can hang. All right, we didn't go in and expect everybody to go soft. And that's a reason why I've complained about the gaming industry and how it's been hijacked by people who aren't real gamers. That's why we're seeing a lot more mainstream games that aren't actually games or pretty much non-games where the only focus is the story and the gameplay just takes a back seat. There's a reason why we're struggling to see many games just be games in the mainstream AAA market like they used to be, and why games that are getting remade or continued are getting complete makeovers that are unrecognizable, that are babied down for the modern audience, etc., etc. It's because the modern audience aren't gamers. That's why they have to change everything for the modern audience, because they have to make it less appealing to actual gamers, all right? So, when you roll in to a space and you expect to change everything about it and you think it's problematic, it's just like, dude, people have been happy. Women, girls, we have been happy in this gaming space for a long time and doing just fine, And it's not something that you have to go in and hijack. And in this case, it does look like that is what is attempted to happen. Now, is the industry corrupt? Is the industry messed up? Heck yes, it is. She is not lying there. But we probably see this from a different perspective. For me, what I believe to be a problem in the gaming industry is that they have hired a lot of people based purely on ideology or based purely on being that, okay, well, we need somebody that fits this checkbox. We don't have enough women. We don't have enough gay people. We don't have enough this, that, or the other. And they're picking based off of identity instead of capabilities. And I will tell you, I have been in a position before where I've been hired on a project because I'm a woman. I felt like a token hire in that case. People ask, was it GameStop? No, it wasn't GameStop TV. It was another thing. It was for like a way smaller org, like esports type org. and they wanted me to cover like World of Warcraft type stuff. And they knew, hey, I played arenas with my brothers and stuff, but I'm not deep into World of Warcraft. Like, I have fun doing arenas and BGs. That's basically it. If you want me to dive deep into the lore, I'm not super versed in that. If you want me to talk about raids and mythics and stuff like that, I don't know what the crap I'm talking about because I don't do them. All I did was some BGs and arenas. And so, but they still hired me anyway. And they put a headset, like an earpiece in my ear. So here I am, like at a round table podcast like discussion with people who stream World of Warcraft all the time and who know every little thing about it. And here I am not knowing anything that's going on, and they just expect me to repeat what they're talking in my ear. I was never so freaking frustrated in my career than trying to navigate that, and it ultimately did not work out in the end. I just couldn't handle it. Could not, and it's not fun being a token hire. I will just say that. Hire people for what they're good at. Now, when you're talking about like GameStop TV, for example, they hired me, but when we did auditions, guess who got first place in the video game trivia? I did. So this was a job I was qualified for, and it was amazing. They treated me great. I was able to talk about stuff that I knew about, and that was up my alley, and that was a great experience. But just saying, hiring people for their identity, hiring people because they fit a certain checkbox is a problem. Virtue signaling in the gaming industry is a huge problem. Also, creeps and pervs are a huge problem in the gaming industry. And I am of the opinion that that is why people virtue signal so freaking loud, is because they're hiding skeletons in their closet. Look at what happened with the Riot Games lawsuit. Look at what happened with the Blizzard lawsuit. So on and so forth. Some creepy people are definitely in the industry. And what's funny about it is they want to act like, oh, toxic masculinity, this and that. No, this isn't what's going on. These creeps are male feminists, okay? That's why you don't ever trust a male feminist. I will tell you, don't ever trust a male feminist, because a lot of times, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of times is they're creeps in disguise. The people who virtue signal the loudest have the most to hide, and that is rampant in the gaming industry. So is she right that it is corrupt? Yes, but I think we have very different reasons for thinking so. I think in her case, she wanted a lot more people to stick their neck out on the chopping block for her and on her behalf, and that did not happen. But I think a lot of that is because she said something stupid. Granted, a lot of these virtue signalers would otherwise agree, but when they see that, wait a minute, I'm not going to get clout points for this because look what happened to her, then they keep quiet. So the industry is absolutely plagued with a bunch of fake people who virtue signal for points. And the people who are not like that, which I'm not, because I'm not saying everybody in the industry is like that, but the people who are not like that, who actually think for themselves or who can respect other people's opinions, even if they disagree with them, they have to be quiet. Okay. So they do exist. Trust me, they do exist, but they have to be quiet because they're risking all of their jobs. Like I said, I've been blacklisted by companies after being more vocal about my opinions on certain things in life, like the mandates and all that, and what was going on, which was very relevant at the time. Okay. Also, now I'm a lot more outspoken. I'm not just going to be positive. I'm not going to be fake. Like if something is good and if I want to be positive about something because I genuinely like it, I will. But also, I'm very critical about a lot of current games because I don't like the direction that especially the Western game developers, AAA, have taken games. So I speak out about that. So there's multiple reasons why companies don't want to work with me right now. Okay. But people have seen that firsthand. I lost a good 90% of my old friends and connections that I had gained from the gaming industry because of that. But again, there are still a lot of people, a good amount, who aren't like that, who aren't like those virtue signaling, super woke, or even if they are fairly woke and they believe in certain woke things, there still are some who still respect other people as well, but they just have to keep quiet because they don't want to lose their jobs. Trust me, I get contacted by said people, and I've received in-game items and gifts from people who have worked at these companies who say, thank you for using your voice, thank you so much, I have to be quiet, and it's so refreshing to see you use your voice and speak out against some of this crap. So yeah, that's that. I think that Frosk is making the right decision in exiting the industry, because I don't like to see people roll into an industry and try to change everything about it. I mean, look what happened with Anita Sarkeesian, right? She wasn't even a gamer, and she rolled herself in. She saw it as a market that she can make money from, and she did just that. She hijacked a lot, okay? I think a lot of the garbage that we deal with gaming, we wouldn't have if she wouldn't have rolled herself in there. So she walked in, dropped a bomb, and left, because she never cared about the industry in the first place. It was all about just finding an opportunity to profit off of something. And that's exactly what she did. So Frosk, hey, I do think that Frosk actually plays video games, so I'm not saying she's like Anita Sarkeesian, but she doesn't seem that ingrained in the actual gaming culture and with gamers as a whole, because anybody who can act like gamers as a majority are bad people clearly haven't hung out with a lot of gamers, because I can't even tell you that even though, there's some smack talking in some games and stuff like that, and they can be harsh, but when it actually comes to people needing help or just needing somebody, gamers are some of the most caring and kind people you could ever meet. They will give you the gear off your back in an off their back in an MMO. Okay, like when you're first getting started on like an MMO game and you're overwhelmed, there will be complete strangers who will give you items, who are happy that you're there, who will help you along. And not only that, but just the community in general. If you go to LAN parties, you go to video game tournaments, all of that, you even at just game events, they are very, very kind people. Okay. Now there have been a lot of these woke people who have hijacked things, and I'm preaching what one of my recent tweets said, and I even shared it on a video once, so I feel like I'm going over the same thing again. But just saying, man, like, the difference here is that, like, gamers can be, edgy in voice chat, right? But they are genuinely some of the nicest people you could ever meet in person. But on the converse of that, you look at woke people, they try to pretend like they're virtuous online, but they're actually some of the most cruel people imaginable. And there has been a certain percentage of the gaming community that has been hijacked by them. But they're mostly non-gamers. What they usually do is they're just more obsessed with shipping video game characters with one another and watching a video game character corn, okay? They're just in that weird, nasty side of it, okay? But do they actually care about the games themselves? Not as much. They just care about inserting identity politics, and we need a character that's this, we need a character that's trans, we need a character that's a woman, we need a character that's this color or that color, and they're just so obsessed with just that element of it. And then also shipping them. Oh wait, we need this character to be a gay couple, we need this character, I want these two to pair up, I want this and that. And it's just like, that's all they care about. And that's another thing why a lot of these woke activists are so off-putting to me, is because I've never seen people so obsessed with sex in my life. Like, it's just to a point where it's just utterly creepy, because it's not even about like love or anything like that. It's like their fetishes that they're just putting out there and they want to be accepted. So I don't know. So anyway, I think this is good all around that she's leaving the gaming industry. I do wish her the best, and I hope that she does find success and happiness. I clearly disagree with a lot of her views, but that doesn't mean that I would wish bad on her or anybody else. I think that the right thing happened. She did need let go, and I don't think that she belongs in the gaming industry. And as harsh as that sounds, I just don't. I think that gamers as a whole, we messed up when we stopped gatekeeping our hobby, and that's why it got hijacked. And so people think we're mean right now because we're starting to stand up again, but it's needed. It's needed against people who are trying to hijack and change everything, who never actually cared about it. So anyway, there you have it for my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you next time. In the meantime, go boom.